Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and remember, context is everything. Media Network founder and CEO John Michael is watching a TV show. This is Twin Peaks. This is season 2, episode 2 or episode 3? Episode 3, I think. And in this episode, everything is indeed changing. So, what I'm doing here is I've watched the show 20 times. This is my 21st time watching it, and as I watch it, I'm just pointing out for you, the viewer, small details that occur throughout the show that I like. And if you like them too, then you should subscribe. Please subscribe. Thank you. Context is Everything Media Network says 3 minutes timestamp. Everything is changing. Cooper tells Albert Rosenfield and Sheriff Truman that not in a dream, but in his room, he was visited by a giant. That's significant because it's really starting to strain credulity for just most common thinking folk. I was visited by a giant in my room who gave me clues. One of them came true, is what he said. In this scene here, when Donna is meeting, what's his name again? When Donna's meeting this gentleman whose name escapes me at this moment, he notes to her that this color that she is wearing looks better than the color she was wearing in the previous episode. And I think that he's right. At 10 minutes and 25 seconds, Albert professes his love to Sheriff Truman. Well, not exactly that way, but he does get confronted by Sheriff Truman, and he says, "Listen to me. I live my life with the purpose of love. I love you, Sheriff Truman." And it's unexpected, nice little character development. Still keeps him kind of one-dimensional, but adds a little bit of a dimension to his one dimension of being angry all the time. Albert, that is. 11 minutes and 50 seconds. Dale Cooper's really starting to make a new thing. He's starting to give thumbs up. Now, this is something I'm realizing now as I'm watching the show. I should have been paying attention the whole time, but maybe I'll go back if enough people say it in the comments. That's like 5 people, 5 separate people ask in the comments for me to go back and tally how many times Dale Cooper and when Dale Cooper give thumbs up. I will do it. But my running theory is Dale Cooper learns to give the thumbs up from the old man who fails to call for help when he's been shot in his room on the first episode of season 2, who gives him a thumbs up. And Dale Cooper gives a thumbs up back and then does this. I'm not doing well. Dale Cooper learned to give the thumbs up, which is his iconic signature from that old man in that moment as season 2 began. This is a theory, but he just did it again. Also, you get a new character introduced here, Richard Tremaine, in a familiar setting, which kind of gives you an indication of his role in the story. It's not a new setting that he's being introduced in. He's being introduced in a familiar setting. Leland Palmer at 14 minutes and 30 seconds says, "Robertson." That was his name, Robertson. And Dale Cooper realizes, Robertson, these are these letters, RBT. These are these letters that were found under the ring finger of the victims. And in realizing that, I say the viewer was noted to this word play thing, this letter play thing, when Lucy was playing Scrabble, when Cooper gave her a thumbs up just a minute ago. So Scrabble was happening to get your mind as the viewer on this word letter kind of cipher. And now the revelation of RBT being Robertson happens immediately after, so that you're like, what? You're not like, what? You're like, oh, right, they were talking about that. RBT and all that. Donna comes in at the wrong time. You can tell Donna's developing her own storyline here. At 19 minutes and 30 seconds, Donna says, "Why don't you hold hands and try to figure it out?" As she insults James with the same insult that Laura Palmer gave him in her final videotape, audio tape, whatever, saying that he's so dumb. and she's just insulting him, calling him dumb as well. Also, in the next scene here, after that, we start to learn of the motives of Blackie in the um, uh, One-Eyed Jacks. Blackie has worked for Ben Horn and apparently was hooked on drugs because of Ben Horn. This is the indication from this. So she's paying back in kind, getting his daughter, Audrey Horn, hooked on drugs, just like you did to me, is what she says. If you've made it this far, please subscribe today. At 24 minutes and 45 seconds, the international pilot is recalled again. Here in the bathroom, you see the one-armed man who appears in a dream, or not in a dream, in reality in the international pilot, in a dream in the standard show. And here you see him transform into that figure that you saw in the international pilot. If you haven't seen the international pilot, get the Blu-ray. Watch it. It's pretty good. I'm sure you can find it online as well. Ben Horn, great character, not a good man. I'm going to give you the best advice that you've heard all week, is his quote here. And it's a great quote telling Cooper to not worry about it so much regarding Audrey Horn's missing status. Yep, and you have a newish character in a newish setting here as well. The Asian man who's kind of just looked at them in the Great Northern a couple of times, kind of foreboding of what is going on. There is something strange happening here, isn't it? So, yeah, you see the man of Asiatic descent staring at them, and then you're here in the, I keep wanting to call it something else, but you're here in One-Eyed Jacks, and a new character is introduced here, for real. And this is a semi-new setting, definitely a new perspective on this semi-familiar setting of Audrey's room in the brothel. And this new character is Jean Renault and Blackie's sister. New characters in a newish setting. 32 minutes and 45 seconds. In the hospital, Big Ed is told, why don't you sing your wife a song to help her come back from her coma? Because her body is waking up, but she still hasn't come to. The song that Big Ed sings is On Top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow. I lost my true lover, a courtin' too slow, courtin' for pleasure, partin's a grief. A false-hearted lover is worse than a thief. Big Ed does not love Nadine, he loves Norma. False-hearted lover is worse than a thief. He's singing this to her, and she wakes up. Beats a trip to Lourdes is a reference from Doc Hayward also, which kind of just also indicates his wholesome religious nature, because he's done that before. Lourdes is a ritual bath, natural spring, and I think it's France, that has been affiliated with miracles occurring for those who bathe in the waters in the Christian tradition. Now, back to the show. Here at 38 minutes, a joyful dream turns into the reliving of the murder. What did I even write here? Here we're in the doctor's office. Dr. Jacoby, the hospital, is hypnotized with a lovely hypnotism that almost puts Harry to sleep. And he's telling of his visions, his dreams that he was having. Everyone smiles. Everyone's like, wow, isn't that nice? And immediately, on a dime, shifts to the harrowing experience of a man being murdered right next to him in his hospital room. Donna is truly growing independent, as you'll see here, at 39 minutes and 30 seconds. There's a new plot arc, a new story that's occurring in this show in season 2, and it's Donna free of James. Not that they're not together, but that, as you see here and in the subsequent scene, there is another story going on as well as their story, because they still do carry a story, but there's another story as well, Donna's story. Your problems keep coming back around, hanging around. Donna's yelling at the tombstone of Laura Palmer, because they are really trying to solve her problems the whole time. Now, in the next scene, really important, really critically important, wrong place, wrong time kind of stuff of Donna entering the house as James. So James enters the house, just walks in, and Maddie's meets him, and he's having a hard time. They embrace, and this is pretty important. The door's unlocked. Please note, the door's unlocked in the household, in the Palmer household at this point. Just James walked in, stormed in, and didn't lock the door behind him, clearly, because right now Donna walks in without knocking or anything, because the door's unlocked. Just as a little indication here, everything starts to get a little haywire and wacky. James runs out to chase Donna, screams, "Why?" Leland walks into the room, and now Madeline Ferguson, Laura's cousin, is upset. She's upset. There's a bit of a traffic light that occurs here, green, yellow, red. Not entirely sure what that means, but I think it happens at the end of episodes sometimes. But then Madeline is venting to Leland Palmer about her troubles and why is everything happening like this. It's like people think that I am Laura Palmer. I'm nothing like her. I'm just her cousin, and I love her very much. Through all this, keep in mind, the door is unlocked. And it's not funny. But at some level, in all the midst of all this tension and the tense conclusion to this episode, with this crying and Leland being supportive in his own way, the door is unlocked. And so when the police come in to say, "Leland, you're under arrest for the murder of, what's his name? Jacques Renault," the reason why they could come in, and they state, is the door was unlocked. And that is why everything happened in this scene as it did. The door was unlocked. James walked in, Donna walked in, and then the police walked in because the door was unlocked. And that's kind of funny. Goodbye. God bless. Please subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye. John Michael, Context is Everything Media Network.